Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here to talk to the participants in the virtual Cambridge Symposium. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify human trafficking in financial transactions. So human trafficking refers to a complex global phenomena which poses a constant threat to unsuspecting women, children, and men worldwide. The definition of human trafficking is the trade in human beings for sexual exploitation, forced labor, forced criminality, and indentured servitude. Most importantly, human traffickers do not discriminate by nationality, by age, by sex, or geographic location. Victims can be neighbors, local workers, or immigrants. Criminals continuously evolve their deceptive schemes to lure victims, and these include false marriages, bogus employment, and bogus study abroad opportunities. So how big is the problem? Human trafficking may be one of the fastest growing activities of transnational criminal organization. The massive global enterprise generates an estimated $150 billion in annual profits with very little risk to the perpetrators. In fact, the International Labor Organization estimates that there are over 40 million human trafficking victims globally. 70% are women and girls, and 30% are children. 16 million of the 40 million are forced into labor in the private sector, working in supply chains for large multinational companies, largely in the fishing, textile, construction, and agriculture industries. So what's the role of financial institution in human trafficking? So human traffickers exploit the financial system in many ways, similar to the way other criminals do. They use money services businesses, cash, credit cards, and bank account to launder illicit funds, and they're often undetected. The transfer of funds is vital to human traffickers, as it is to any criminal organization, and these transactions become increasingly complex as they move from lower to higher levels of trafficking organizations. They often hide behind the facade of legal businesses, or they move the criminal proceeds to tax havens using shell companies. As a result, financial institutions must also be on the front line of detection and prevention. So to date, financial institutions have limited tools to detect transactions related to human trafficking. Current transaction monitoring models are often simple, rules-based, and can't process the high volume of inputs that are necessary to differentiate transactions related to trafficking, because often the transactions resemble the transactions of a legitimate business. The 2019 Traffic in Persons report indicates that only 86,000 trafficked victims received global assistance, representing less than 1% of all victims. Tragically, there were fewer than 7,000 convictions during this period, underscoring the fact that most traffickers are not identified or convicted. So what can be done? The use of artificial intelligence and machine learning can help financial institutions fight against human trafficking by identifying the criminal proceeds. AI is not only capable of analyzing financial activity, the relationships between participants in financial transactions, but can easily aggregate the hundreds of thousands of data points and data sources that are necessary to detect the attributes of human trafficking. In using these data-driven tools, financial institutions can convert simplistic rules-based models using insights from terabytes of data that can be attributed to human trafficking. Let me give you an example. You're a bank and you have a customer who is in the event planning business. And the transactions that this customer engages in are many large transactions to hotels and airline companies and maybe cruise ships. And all those seem perfectly reasonable for an event planning business. But with an AI system that can link the phone numbers of the business to ads for escort services in publications or in the dark net, that can link pictures of personnel in the event planning business with pictures on websites for escort services or prostitution, that may indicate something else entirely. So we believe that artificial intelligence and machine learning will revolutionize how the war against human trafficking is fought and ultimately won. As the maturity and use cases of AI to fight financial crimes of all types mature, investigators will be able to better follow the money, better able to focus attention on the true risk, and ultimately finding and helping more victims. Thank you very much.